right here. Couldn't be anywhere else. Rodney Josephson is my name, they call me. And this session, we're going to figure out where we are right now. So let's dive right in, I suppose. We'll just ignore the wonderful, peaceful garden in the back and get right down to the meat and potatoes. So, what is our position? So if you think of this as a multi-dimensional platform, if you will, there's the center. So the center is right there, right here. Can't be anywhere else. So we have, let's say, 4 corners of the earth, I suppose. We have west, east, north, south. Then we have the up and down. So if you imagine that as being, you're being the center of that, you can go up. Of course, I can climb up this building, or I can go down. I'm on the 4th floor, so I can go down the elevator and go down. Now, once I hit ground level, of course, what do I do then? I suppose I can find a tunnel, or start digging, and go further down. And as you notice that the further you go down, the more dense it gets, density. Because the so-called matter or what have you becomes solid. Now, if you go up, it becomes lighter. Like birds, they fly, right? They're flying in space. So wherever I am, that's always the center. It can't be anything else. The question is there a true center? Well, yeah, the true center is where you are. That's the center. It can't be anything else. Now, maybe, NASA or these other guys are saying that you're an insignificant dot over there on this picture, and they show you these pictures of the universe and whatnot, and they have an arrow pointing to this dot, and that's you over there. Well, I don't know, man. I think it's the other way around. It has to be. What else could it be? So the significance is that you, me, we are the center of the so-called universe, because all is mind and we experience it from our position wherever we are. So we can move our so-called center to any position we want. Now, as I said, I can go downstairs, but I'm still in that position. I can go north, south, east, west, up, down, anywhere. Now, and that's the physical. Now, in the so-called mental, I can, go anywhere as well, without the physical requirements. So-called astral projection, or whatever thing you'd like to imagine that as being. The dream state is what I call it. So that's our so-called orientation map, if you will. Now, again, these are just lines. They shouldn't represent any restrictive idea or concept, because you can imagine anything. Now, of course, in this physical world, we have to manage the obstacles that are there. We can't physically go through a wall in this three-dimensional state that we are in. The physical world is real, as in everything. However, when you have a so-called out-of-body experience, you are going through walls. You're going to other dimensions or other places and you're navigating around, but you are still the center experiencing these other positions, still as the center, meeting the other beings or objects or whatever you may run into or see, I should say. And so they're represented within your perceptual position. So here, there. I'm here, you're there. Or you're here and I'm there. You know, we're just seeing ourselves from two different so-called locations, but we're still the center of that location. Seeing ourselves from a different perspective. So it's the always here. I'm always here, wherever that is. And that moves with, on this so-called map, or in the map, or however you'd like to think about that. So we can see we have heaven and hell, but the center, remember. So within the mind, you can be in hell, and you know your surroundings will be so-called hell, or you can be in heaven in the center, and your surroundings will be heaven. So I'm in heaven right now. This is it. Plants, you know, I can hear a rooster, cock-a-doodle-doo in the background. So I think this is, I'm enjoying my heaven. Now I don't want to be in a so-called hell, because I wouldn't probably be doing this video. Or I could be doing it, however, it will be, you know, a little chaotic. So I prefer heaven. And as I do with all my videos, I talk about the monad, or I usually mention it, or it's in the video somewhere. And this is the monad, it's the all and the nothing. All is one and one is all. Seek within. So seeking within, you find your so-called wisdom and discernment of how to interpret your true sense of being. And so this is what I came up with, though I've kind of touched on this in other videos, but this is specifically this video. The realization, that's where I am. And this is it. You know, a lot of these gurus and spiritual people running around, or whatever you want to call them, are saying that, yeah, you get the Kundalini awakening and you're flying high in the sky and all that. Well, in fantasy, yes. In movies, yes. So the realization is that this is it. Now, again, it is, is it good or bad, or is it a disappointment? No. Because when you have so-called found your true being, your essence, your center, then things are good. They get better, or enjoyable, loving, if you want to look at it that way. You know, your radiance, your coherence, your balance, and then you float around in that sense, in this reality, enjoying what is going on, because it's the internal state that is projected and reflected in the external world. So the point of existence, which is now, here, there, here, so the existence position may change form. Okay, so what does that mean? So right now, in this position, in this reference point, I'm sitting down and I'm talking to myself in the video or to my brother and sister. And so after this video, I will change my form, position, or existence, and I'll go do something else somewhere, still in the center, but in another so-called location, experiencing that, which I could go up, down, north, south, east, west, as they would say, but still the center of that position. So again, it's your perceptual position. Where are you seeing it from? Now, I've drawn this one, which is this, showing, we have these dots, and then we have this, arrows going this way, that way, that way, that way, from all potential possibilities I could draw on this whiteboard. And, of course, infinite, because every position that you will move into and exist in will be, potentially infinite number of possibilities. Though sometimes it looks like repetition, which it could be. However, you can learn to understand and know or be aware, consciously aware of what's going on and seeing it come to fruition the way you internally radiate it. And therefore the external positions, so-called external positions, or others you are meeting are representative of that true essence of the self that you are, moving to the other scenes or locations. And that's obviously coming from within, because you're the one that's deciding to go from so-called location X to Y. So I go from this one to this one, but it's still the center, right? And I'm meeting my brothers and sisters or whatever in that so-called new position, which is all in the same position anyway. Must be. And so that's the moving around, the so-called map, if you want to call it map of perception, I suppose. And again, I could climb up on my roof and look over or down or east or west from here to see a different view. And if, let's say, you are over on the other building looking at me on this building, well, you're seeing me from a different angle, or I'm seeing myself from a different angle from that position. Now, I can imagine that too. I can imagine that I'm looking at myself on this building from another building at me looking at them, or at myself. Why not? And so we then are mastering our so-called existence, knowing that there's this oneness of everyone and everything, all depending on how you are radiating it within, because the world is without. And so we go throughout the day or night or sleep or dreams and go through all these potential or multiple positions or conditions or opportunities, and they're unfolding each time, each moment that we're aware that it's going on. Sometimes we're not aware. We just too much coffee or not paying attention to the eternal now. The eternal now. And so when I've become aware of the eternal now, then I'm resonating in the eternal now and enjoying the environment as it is, because that's what I want, or that's what I am, and that's what I am radiating, and that's what exists in the eternal now. And so that's the so-called climax. It's the ultimate inner knowing. And that's the awakening. That's your Kundalini awakening. Here it is. Woo, yeah. That's it, guys. I can't paint you a better picture. You can paint all the pictures you want, and you will fulfill those in one form or another. Again, the dramatic things like in this physical form, I'm going to sprout some wings and go flying off the building top. Well, I think that is mixing a reality which will not work in this reality. So you have to, collect those kind of concepts and actually use your wisdom and discernment to know that that's not a practical way to experience things, because it doesn't physically work in this reality. Now you can do it in movies and cartoons and AI generated stuff. Yeah, sure, why not? But in this physical plane or reality, it doesn't work. Now, as I've done in other videos, yes, you can fly, you can do other things in your so-called dream state, experiencing other realities which are in essence true as well. So you just got to remember that depending on where you are, what reality you are in, you may be able to do certain things in some realities and certain things not in some realities, like this one. So you got to understand the so-called laws, not man's law, the rules and laws within this physical world that you can do and adapt and work with, and what you can do in the other ones. And slowly, step by step, this reality changes to match your inner state. The physical world will adopt your inner coherence and resonance. And so you will live that, dream life, if you want to call it that, in resonance and in harmony with your true self. And you'll meet your brothers and sisters like I'm meeting you. And you'll radiate the same kind of energy, or however you'd like to think about it, as one, because we're, oneness enjoying itself from different perspectives. Not to say anything or anyone is better or worse than another. They're just enjoying themselves in what they want or how they're doing it. It's just you pushed out. So you enjoy the show. You don't have to get involved in some of the shows that go on. You observe it, see it, and move on. So I think I can kind of wrap this one up. Eternal beings flying like a butterfly. It's here. And so-called ever expanding your awareness of your true divine eternal life. And it is eternal. You will change your body and return once again in another in a new life, and hopefully knowing that you are one with all and all with one, with all those experiences and joys and sorrows and all that in you, because you remembered you have all the power. So I'm going to leave it at that. This is the so-called Stickman Show, Rodney Josephson. Leave it there, brothers and sisters. Alive, dwelling in the garden, Saigon. It's now. Ciao.